What's the story, Morning Glory? What is the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this hopefully quick conversation regarding some headlines that I found interesting this week. So let's start off with Dwight Howard. So Dwight Howard, former LA Laker basketball player, I guess basketball star, he is in the headlines. He's been in the headlines lately because he is being sued. Now, I know of Dwight Howard through one of his children's mother, Royce Reed, because she used to be a cast member on the reality TV show Basketball Wives, which was produced and started by Shawnee O'Neal. So I remember in the early days of Basketball Wives, one of his exes or children's mother, Royce Reed, she was on it. And one of her storylines was that she was always having some type of custody issue with Dwight Howard regarding their son. And I think their son right now is about 14 years old. And so there's always been some type of like a custody battle or visitation issues between the two of them regarding their child. That's how I know of Dwight Howard. I didn't even know he played for the Lakers until I read this article. So he's been making headlines lately because he is being sued by Stephen Harper. Now, when I read the allegations in this lawsuit, I was like, they're going to be talking about this stuff in court. Now, he has a child, or he has multiple children. I think he has 5 children in total. And I'm just thinking to myself, your kids, the ones who are old enough to, peruse the internet and read, and they're going to be reading this stuff at some point in their lives. And how embarrassing is it for your most intimate, most explicit, detailed moments of your life is going to be splattered all over it is splattered all over the internet, and one day your children are going to have access to this. I'm just like, wow, that is just so embarrassing, whether it's with a man or a woman or whoever. This is some very explicit stuff that your children might have access to one day. But anyway, here we go. So he's being sued by Stephen Harper. Now, this is how it all started. This is going all the way back to 2021. Stephen Harper reached out to Dwight Howard back on May the 29th, 2021 on Instagram via his secondary Instagram account, Stephen Harper's secondary account. So he texted Dwight Howard his phone number. Dwight Howard responded back with a devil emoji. And then after that, Dwight Howard requested pictures from Stephen Harper. So Stephen Harper obliged and he sent them. I'm assuming these are some very explicit pictures, because if they weren't, Dwight Howard can just see whatever pictures Stephen Harper had posted online. So I'm assuming these were more of the adult nature. So Dwight Howard told him that he was into some really freaky stuff and he wanted to see Harper's nudes and other more explicit material. Dwight Howard told him, "I'm not gay or anything. I'm just a little nasty, but I don't want to offend you." So I'm thinking to myself, obviously, he's not going to be offended because Stephen Harper reached out to Dwight Howard. You know what I'm saying? So, and by this time, he'd already sent him, explicit pictures. So, like, why would he be offended? So they continued to exchange text messages and explicit content from May 2021 until July 2021. Now, on July the 19th of 2021, Dwight Howard contacted Harper to tell him that he was thinking about that meet. Dwight Howard then invited him to his Georgia home. So Harper obliged and, accepted the invitation. Dwight Howard said that his son would be there at his home, but he would be asleep when Stephen Harper arrived. And I'm thinking to myself, my God, wow. Okay. So Stephen Harper took an Uber to Howard's home, and on the way there, Dwight Howard texted him and asked him if he wanted to do a threesome, and if so, would he prefer to do one with a girl or with a man. Now, Harper declined the whole threesome. He didn't want to do the threesome at all, and he told this to Dwight Howard. So when he arrived at Dwight Howard's home, I'm assuming they go into his bedroom, they start making out, etc. Then they talk for about 40 minutes. Now, Harper said that he noticed that Dwight Howard was on his phone busy texting someone. Minutes later, a man arrives dressed as a woman who went by the name of Kitty. Now, for whatever reason, this is where my imagination took me. I didn't see any photos of this man who went by the name of Kitty, but for whatever reason, I'm imagining some Mike Tyson looking guy, like some really masculine, muscly, buff guy who shows up in a dress with a purse and wearing some pumps. This is what I'm imagining for some reason. So this man named Kitty, dressed like a woman, shows up. So Harper, at that point, when Kitty arrived, Harper wanted to leave, but Dwight Howard convinced him to stay. And so my question is, how did Dwight Howard convince him to stay? Like, what did he tell him? Because you already know where this is going. You know, a dude shows up dressed up in women's clothing and, you know, a pair of pumps. Where do you think this is going? So somehow Dwight Howard convinced him to stay. So then Kitty turned on an adult film. Kitty began to perform an act on Dwight Howard. At this point, Stephen Harper was feeling extremely uncomfortable. Dwight Howard began touching Stephen Harper, and he was touching him in the nether regions. Harper claims that when he was being touched by Dwight Howard, he looked at Howard and shook his head no, and then verbally told him no. But Dwight Howard ignored that and continued to touch him. So Harper told him to stop, which made Dwight Howard upset and angry. So according to Harper, Dwight Howard said that he was going to do whatever he wanted to do with him and that Harper was going to like it. Harper then feared that Dwight Howard and Kitty would harm him if he resisted their advances. So now he feels like he's trapped. So Dwight Howard then began to perform unconsensual fellatio on Harper. Harper was in fear of imminent and bodily harm when he was pinned down and forced to remain in place. When Dwight Howard realized that Harper was not enjoying himself, if you pick up what I'm saying, when Dwight Howard realized that Harper was not enjoying himself, he forced him to come over to Howard's bed. Once there, Kitty and Dwight Howard went full blown with one another, okay, full blown, the things that adults do. And so while this was going on, Dwight Howard forced Harper to perform an act on him. When it was all said and done, when all of this was over, Harper immediately put on his clothes and then he called an Uber. He said that he felt violated and humiliated and was in complete shock of what just took place. Dwight Howard demanded that Kitty drive Harper home instead of Harper taking an Uber. So in this lawsuit, he claims that he was assaulted. He's accusing Dwight Howard of battery and false imprisonment. In the past, Dwight Howard has denied being gay despite multiple accusations. He has 5 children with multiple women, including a 14-year-old son with Royce Reed from Basketball Wives. So my only question is this: when I read this article, there was no mentioning of Stephen Harper contacting law enforcement. So I'm always questioning, and I'm not saying it's wrong or right. People do whatever they think is best for them at that time. But I'm always questioning, if you felt like you were violated and assaulted and you were falsely imprisoned, why didn't you call law enforcement and make a police report? That does not stop you from filing a civil lawsuit later. Why do people just rush to the civil courts to sue for monetary damages instead of also making a police report because you've been violated? That's what I want to know. And I also question, did Harper think this was some type of a relationship? Did he think it was just a booty call? Or was this some type of, was there going to be some type of money exchanged between him and Mr. Dwight Howard? And this is the reason why he initially stayed, because Dwight Howard convinced him, if you stick around after Kitty arrives, we're going to, I'm going to make it worth your while monetarily. So I feel like there's a lot of information that is still missing from this, because I think that there are you know what? I'm not even going to say, because people can feel trapped and feel like they're unable to leave for whatever reason. But I feel like there were moments when he probably could have left before before things got as far as they did. So obviously during this lawsuit, Dwight Howard is probably going to give his side of the story. I don't know if Miss Kitty's going to make an appearance as a witness. And if Miss Kitty does make an appearance as a witness, are you going to give us your full glamour? Are you going to give us your full glamour and your dress and your pocketbook and your pumps? Moving on to Tamar Simmons. This is the boyfriend or ex-boyfriend of the woman of the hour, woman of the week, CarleeRussell. So initially, after CarleeRussell came back home after being allegedly abducted or kidnapped, her ex-boyfriend Tamar Simmons got on Facebook and he posted a message stating that he does believe that she was abducted. He said that Carlee was fighting for her life during the 48 hours that she was missing, etc. So he was, standing 10 toes down for his ex-girlfriend, current girlfriend. I don't know exactly what the current situation was for them at the time. He was standing 10 toes down for Carlee, saying these things did happen to her as she claimed that they did. Now, after the Hoover Police Department made their press conference, where they didn't necessarily come out and say that, oh, we think she's lying. They just said that some of the things that she said, they were not able to substantiate. For example, the child that she claimed that she saw by themselves on the side of the road that she has stopped to help and assist, they never found that child. So they don't believe that a child ever existed. And I just saw another article saying that the Hoover Police Department wants to stress to the public that they are not accusing her of lying. In fact, as far as they're concerned, this is still an open investigation. They are still trying to follow whatever leads they have based on the things that she had said. So they're not saying that she's lying. They're just saying that some of the things have not been able to be substantiated or proven or whatever. So Mr. Tamar Simmons has completely deleted, he has completely wiped all trace of Carlee from his social media. All traces. So, and this was just hours after the press conference given by the Hoover Police Department. So I don't know what's going on there. I guess he's, I don't know. I guess he's realizing that things may not be what they seem with Carlee, and he wants no parts of it. He wants nothing to do with it. I don't know. I could just imagine like how this girl must feel having to go through this, being the center of attention, being so heavily scrutinized by the entire nation, by the entire world, where you are being accused of being a lot. It's just, I don't even know how she is making it day to day. But her ex-boyfriend has completely wiped out all evidence of Carlee Simmons on his Instagram. JohnAmos, the man who played the father on Good Times, he also starred in Coming to America as Mr. McDowell. He also starred in the movie Roots. Well, a couple of months ago, his daughter came out and said that he was being the victim of elder abuse and financial exploitation. And she was hinting that it was being committed by her brother. His name is Kelly Christopher Amos, and they call him Casey. He goes by KC. So JohnAmos was staying with his son. His son, I think, was his primary caretaker. And then the sister came out and said that her father has been a victim of elder abuse and financial exploitation. So everybody was pointing the finger at KC. Well, JohnAmos came out and said that for whatever reason, his daughter was not telling the truth. He is not being victimized by anybody. And that when he ended up in the hospital, it wasn't because of any type of abuse. It was because his body was retaining a lot of fluid. So he was standing by his son. He completely disclaimed everything that his daughter said. The daughter had even started a GoFundMe to help him with his hospital bills, and he denounced the GoFundMe. He says, I don't need a GoFundMe. I don't need any assistance. I'm perfectly okay and being well taken care of by my son. Well, things have kind of changed now. His son, Casey Amos, he's no longer medical power of attorney over JohnAmos. So he can no longer make medical decisions for his father. There is still an active investigation conducted by the Colorado Bureau of Investigation, Adult Protective Services, and the Custer County Sheriff's Department of elder abuse and financial exploitation on behalf of JohnAmos. So there's still an investigation about this. Even though JohnAmos claims that, no, I'm not a victim of anything, well, these law enforcement agencies believe that something is going on to the point where they need to investigate. Casey has not been named a suspect in this investigation or in these investigations that are being conducted. He has not been named an official suspect, but he was charged after he was removed as the medical power of attorney over his father. Casey has now been charged with terroristic threats and threatening imminent death. I don't know who the victim is. I hope it's not his dad, but I don't know who the victim is. So that family right there is in some serious turmoil. Speaking of sons who are not behaving right, let's move on to Bryson Leakes, the son of Real Housewives of Atlanta star Nene Leakes. So Nene Leakes has two sons. She has her older son, Bryson Leakes, and then she has her younger son, Brent. His name is not Leakes. His last name, I don't think his has the same last name as his father. No, it is Leakes. Brent Leakes. I think Greg Leakes was Nene Leakes' husband, who passed away from cancer. I think last year he passed away. And with Greg Leakes, Nene had her son Brent. Bryson is from a former relationship. So Bryson Leakes, I remember a couple of years ago when Nene Leakes was still on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, he was accused of stealing or shoplifting from Walmart. So after that died down, now he's back in the news again because on July 3rd, he was arrested for felony possession of fentanyl and loitering and prowling. And he even evaded the police. He was even evading the police. And when he got arrested, he didn't give his own name. This man gave his younger brother's name. So on the police report initially, all these documents regarding these charges had Brent Leakes. He gave his brother's name. I'm like so shocked that he would do that to his own brother. Like, what kind of a person are you that you would give your brother's name when you're being arrested? And then he's allegedly in possession of fentanyl. Like, what is going on? You would think that the way, Nene presents her life, like she's got it like that, right? She's rich, she's successful. She says she didn't need the Real Housewives of Atlanta, that they needed her more than she needed them, etc. So why is your son going through this? Not only that, but Bryson Leakes also has kids. I think he's got at least 2 children. Is Nene like not helping her son out? I'm not saying that she should like fully take care of a full grown man, but where was the breakdown here? Like for him to start living this type of lifestyle where he is shoplifting and he is in possession of illegal drugs. Like, what is going on here? And then giving your brother's name when you're arrested, not giving a damn how this is gonna affect your brother. I'm just really confused about the turn that Bryson Leakes has taken since his mom rose to fame. I don't know if he's affected by his stepfather's death or exactly what is causing him to act out like this. Let's talk about J-Lo from the block. So J-Lo from the block. Look, first of all, I think I still am a pretty big fan of J-Lo because not for her personal life or her personal stuff, but professionally. The fact that this woman looks the way she looks at 53 years old and that she's still able to do the damn thing. She's still performing. She's still in movies. She don't give a damn if she can't sing. She don't care if y'all think she can or cannot sing. She doesn't care if she sounds like a dying horse. She doesn't care. She's going to get on that stage and she's going to lip sync the hell out of all of her songs. She's going to give you a performance. just the fact that she just doesn't care and does her own thing. But most of all, the way that she has kept up with herself. I don't know if she has had surgery or if this is just how she is naturally. To me, her body looks pretty natural. I don't know if she's had things done to her face. I have no idea. But I think J-Lo looks absolutely beautiful for being 53 years old. I'm not saying that you cannot look good past 50. Obviously you can, but she seems to do it effortlessly, and she seems to do it looks natural. That's what I'm trying to say, because so many people in Hollywood, you can tell, how they've gotten injections and they plumped up this and plumped up that and stretched this, and you can just tell everybody's got that same look, right? With the high cheekbones or overly inflated cheekbones or overly inflated lips. Everything is pulled tight for the gods except for their necks. And some of them are not even that old yet. But anyways, I digress. Jenny from the block, to me, just the fact that her style, whenever she does the red carpet, she always looks flawless. But anyways, the personal stuff, I'm not a big fan of. Her and Ben Affleck getting back together again, didn't really care for that, but it's none of my business. I don't know what's going, all that other personal stuff, not a fan of. But just how she is professionally, I am. So she was seen going to do her workout at some luxurious gym, fitness studio. They call it a fitness studio. For us regular folks, it's the gym, but for them, it's a fitness studio. So she was seen approaching or arriving at her fitness studio, and she was trying to open the door to get in, but the door was locked. So she had to wait for someone to come and open the door, and she didn't look very happy. And of course, the paparazzi is there. And how uncomfortable and awkward it must have been that you're waiting to be let into your fitness studio, your luxury fitness studio. You can't get in, you're locked out, and the paparazzi is there. So they finally come and open the door. She goes in, she does her workout, she comes back out, and after her workout, you would think that she would have looked, refreshed, not necessarily refreshed, but just in a good mood. You got those hormones, endorphins, or whatever it is that get activated when you exercise, and you did your workout for the day. It should put you in a really good mood. You got that out of the way. You did what you were supposed to do, and you should be in a really good mood. But she came out looking kind of pissed off, and the paparazzi, they were still there. And what does it say here? It says here that when she came out after finishing her workout, J-Lo seemed to be annoyed, and she swore at the paparazzi before getting into her car. J-Lo shouted, "Go away, F you, bye." And she acted like this like days after she celebrated her 1-year anniversary of wedded bliss to Ben Affleck. And I'm like, J-Lo, why are you so mad? You just been celebrating your 1-year anniversary. Okay, you got your workout out of the way. Why are you so mad, J-Lo? Why are you cussing out the paparazzi? And so I wonder if the people who work there, I wonder if the staff at this luxury fitness studio caught hell for not having that door open for her and making her stand out there for I don't know how many minutes it was in front of the paparazzi. I can only imagine the hell that they had to endure from J-Lo. She probably cussed every single one of them out from here till Sunday. But I bet you they'll never have that door locked again. Anywho, thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video if you like this content, subscribe to my channel, and I'll definitely talk to you later. Bye.